Former Greater Manchester Police Constable PC Richard O'Connell faced a misconduct hearing this week over allegations of flirtatious and inappropriate messages sent to victims of domestic violence, sexual relationships with vulnerable women who were victims of crime, who he'd met after responding to emergency calls between 2011 and 2018, and that he formed a sexual relationship with one woman who he met through his duties, and that the two of them had a child together. It's said that O'Connell sent one woman a text calling her fit and told another victim he wanted to take her out for a drink and that she was really good looking. The panel heard that he had attended one woman's house in response to a 999 call out in 2011 after her partner reportedly refused to leave the address. Ms A was classed as a vulnerable woman and had been subjected to domestic violence and also had mental health and alcohol issues, all of which was well known to PC O'Connell. His behaviour towards her was described as flirtatious and over-friendly, and later, the same day that he first met her, the panel heard he returned to her house in his own car, informally dressed. O'Connell is said to have asked her out on a date. They started a relationship which led to a child being born in 2012. He was also found to have abused the police computers in order to view Ms A's details, for which he had no policing purpose. The misconduct hearing was also told that he interfered with an investigation against him by contacting Ms A when he was forbidden from doing so and concocting a story. The panel found the officer commenced a relationship with a vulnerable individual who he had met through his work and continued with the relationship. The officer asked Ms A out on the very day he met her in the course of his police work. He pursued the relationship and had a sexual relationship with Ms A. Not only that, but O'Connell was also found to have engaged in inappropriate contact with another victim of domestic abuse referred to as Ms B. The panel heard that O'Connell told the woman that under different circumstances he would have loved to have asked her out and brought her a drink in Yates's. He also made a remark that she was really good looking. Yates. Classy. Maybe we should give the police a pay rise. At least they can then take advantage of society's vulnerable folk in style. What a wanker. O'Connell decided that his best defence was to tell the panel that he was mostly pissed when he made contact with her, and the panel heard how Ms B became increasingly uncomfortable with the messages. The third woman, referred to as Ms C, was also a vulnerable victim, but the hearing was told that she treated PC O'Connell as a friend and didn't find the messages uncomfortable or think he'd done anything wrong. However, another woman named in the hearing as Ms D was said to be a long-term victim of domestic abuse and had reported an incident with an ex-partner in 2017. There were 2,448 messages between O'Connell and Ms D in the space of 10 months, the panel heard. They were nearly all text messages, 1,353 from Ms D and 1,095 from O'Connell, and 359 phone calls. On the 7th of September, there were texts sent throughout the night. Messages included references to the officer wanting to be her fella in a fun way. The panel concluded that many messages were clearly flirtatious and were not sent for policing purposes. Fuck me, this Connell dude is prolific. And it doesn't stop there either. Oh no. In 2018, O'Connell did an incident involving a woman referred to as Ms E and her child. The hearing was told he sent her a text saying that he was called Richard, dick, and sent a further message saying, I miss you. There were 24 messages between them. Ms E said that she initially felt a little uneasy and uncomfortable. She later said that she found the message saying that he missed her horrible and she panicked. Another woman referred to as Ms F was deemed very vulnerable. She described herself as being in a bad state and saw O'Connell in 2018 in respect of an allegation of assault. The panel heard that Ms F recalled the messages were random and out of the blue, along the lines of asking how she was. She said she found it strange and over-familiar. O'Connell also blamed the contact with Ms F on the too. Now, he did tell the hearing that he had a problem with alcohol and that he had sent many of the messages whilst drunk, but unfortunately didn't provide any medical evidence to the panel in order to support that claim. After all of this, which had been pretty much allowed to go on for a number of years with a number of victims, although O'Connell had resigned prior to his misconduct hearing, the panel came to the only conclusion available, and that was that his behaviour constituted gross misconduct, and had he still been serving, he would have been dismissed. For what it's worth. I do find it incredibly hard to understand how not a single person who worked with him ever had concerns about him, heard him speak about his interests in vulnerable women, or ever heard of a complaint, even if informal, about his behaviour. I mean, we expect these organisations to investigate crimes committed against us, people they don't know, in circumstances they have no idea about. But they can't even identify a prolific sex pest looking to abuse vulnerable women right under their fucking noses.